For nearly 3,000 years, the Maya dominated Central America. Known for their brutal tactics against enemies, ritual decapitations, and human sacrifice. The Maya were also incredibly advanced. Architecture, agriculture, math, language. There was seemingly nothing that could stop their empire. And then somehow, around 950 AD, this civilization vanishes. But new evidence suggests there's more to the Mayan story. We know the Maya saw caves as a place they could communicate with their gods, even performing blood sacrifices there. With a little bit of luck, there could be further evidence that a group of Maya were able to rebuild a thriving civilization here in Georgia.
How cool is that? Okay. Yeah. It's slick. Yeah. All right, there we go. That's cool. I'm in. I just get a charge out of this, man. This mystery, this threshold of the miles and miles of abyss that's ahead. Who knows what's back there? Man, this thing is just a collapsed cave. All righty, how do I get down this? Every possibility is that these were the sacred spaces where they could communicate with the gods. Quite possibly this happened here as well as it did back in the Yucatan. Those beliefs would have carried right over, if we can find proof.
The Maya believed the deepest parts of caves were the best place to communicate with gods.
Into the abyss, huh?
So that's where we're headed, if we can find our way.
I'm good. Okay, these explorers would have to find their way through these tiny crevices. Something like this. Try to find their way down to where the realm of the gods, you know? It's a little claustrophobic. I'm stuck right here. Oh. Oh, God. There we go. I'm good.
I'm deep inside a cave in Georgia. Nearby, we found several buried structures that could be evidence of a Mayan settlement. I'm looking for anything to connect this place to the sites we've explored in Mexico. Pottery shards, primitive weapons, evidence of blood sacrifice.
Look at this little shard. Oh my gosh. Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. This is so not a rock. I don't want to touch it too hard. Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Look at that. Can you see this? Let me get. Look at this. I mean, I don't know what period that's from, but it's definitely an arrowhead. That's insane. That establishes the fact that there were human beings among us in these caves. I can't take this out. That's against the law, but I can take a picture. This takes me right back to Chichen Itza, to the way the Maya treated their cave systems, the underworld artifacts that were found there in order to communicate with the gods. That's incredible.
We know the Maya used spear points and arrowheads. But I'm no expert on differentiating Mayan artifacts from Native American ones. Luckily, I know someone who is. Don Garrick is one of the world's foremost experts on the subject. Interesting pictures, I said, right? Did you see? You got a chance to look at them?
I did, yeah.
Tell me your impressions. What do you see?
Well, it's a good-looking projectile point. A lot of people would refer to those as arrowheads.
Who would that arrowhead been associated with in that part of the country, do you think?
It looks to be of Creek ancestors.
The Creek, also known as the Muskogee, are an indigenous people who were living in the southeastern U.S. at the time of the Mayan collapse. But what's a Creek arrowhead doing in the darkest depths of a cave?
Native Americans in that area typically weren't known as cave dwellers, using caves, and especially deep into caves. So you typically want to expect to find evidence of them using those caves.
It looks to me a lot like the way the Mayan culture used caves. It suggests that to me. I mean, the Maya worshipped in these caves. The caves were the underworld, the passage to the afterlife, and everything else was associated with those spaces.
Exactly. And, naturally, that's kind of where my mind would also go.
What's your feeling? Is there a link between these two societies in any way?
I think without a doubt there's a link. What that link is, I don't know. It's worth investigating more because it changes the whole history of what I know.
We have some compelling evidence that some Maya relocated to the United States, possibly intermingling with the Creek Native Americans. If they did, there would be one place where definitive proof couldn't hide: in the DNA of present-day Creeks.
Hi,
How nice to
Don.
meet you.
How are you?
Dr. Bodur Salia is a professor of genomics at USC, and I've asked her to scan a sample of Creek Native American DNA to see if there's evidence that the Creek mixed with the Maya.
Genomics is the study of all of the genes, and that's basically how you start identifying markers for which certain populations might resemble each other. Almost like a family tree of human diversity.
Right. So my journey has been to try to track a migratory path of the Maya.
People have studied Mayan genetics,
Yes.
so we know what Mayan markers are. The question is there evidence that Mayan markers are present in modern-day Cherokee or Creek or people of the Southeast? Yes, there is.
No kidding.
Yes, I've been able to find that. But 1,000 years ago, the Mayans crossed over the Gulf of Mexico and end up in Georgia. I don't know that we know the answer to that right now.
But when you take that research that's been done and combine it with that circumstantial evidence of what you see anthropologically, it does come up with a pretty solid...
It does. I think it's quite plausible, yes.
That's amazing. The ultimate fate of the Maya remains steeped in mystery. But one thing seems clear: they didn't all just disappear. From their expert abilities on the high seas, to mounds in Florida and Georgia that resemble Mayan architecture, to hidden places of worship.
It's definitely an arrowhead.
Found at the most unlikely sites.
That is amazing.
It seems that some Maya escaped their doomed empire and fled to Florida, eventually spreading from there. Our fascination with the Maya lives on some 1,000 years after they supposedly vanished. But surprising evidence found deep in the underworld and in the DNA of people alive today suggests the Maya themselves may live on.